This is the easiest way to open one of your elevations in Photoshop. So open Photoshop so that it looks like this. This is actually, let me just minimize that. So this is Photoshop opened, and this is one of my folders on my computer. And what I'm going to do is just click on the image that I want to bring into Photoshop, and then I'm going to drag that right into Photoshop. And it's as simple as that. So this is the elevation that I originally created before I applied all the highlights and shadows. And you had mentioned that when you went into view, you found it difficult to see how to see the actual pixels because that option isn't available, with that wording isn't available in the current version of Photoshop. So in my older version of Photoshop, in order to see the actual size in pixels of the image, I selected actual pixels. And in the current version of Photoshop, 100% is the same thing. So if you click 100%, you can see the actual size of this image. Isn't that cushion absolutely gorgeous? I absolutely adore the color of that cushion. That blush pink is just amazing. And the zebra pattern, I just love that so much. Anyway, then go to view and fit on screen so that the image fits on your screen. And that's it. There are the two main options you need when you go into view. It's 100% and fit on screen, or zoom in. You'll probably use that quite a lot too. And then what I advise you to do is to make the canvas size larger, and that's because the border at the minute around this elevation, the top and bottom border, isn't very good. I just like to create a nicer border around the image or the elevation because it creates a nicer frame. So I recommend you go to image, canvas size. You'll notice here that it'll say pixels. Please change that to centimeters. I just find it easier. And then just type in 33, let's say. So this is a nice border around this elevation now. It's framing it very nicely. And then what I advise you to do is to crop that image because we don't need the unnecessary white bits at the side. So I'm going to select the crop tool. So this is crop. And if you hover over these icons on the left hand side here for a couple of seconds, you will see a little bit of an explanation as to what they are, just in case you forget. So the crop tool in the current version of Photoshop is a little different to the version that I use. So what you need to do is hover over this little dash right here until you see a two-way arrow, and then just click and drag and bring that right in to just before the ground level line. So this is the ground level line that I use in SketchUp. So just bring it all the way over just before it reaches that, and then do the same on the other side. And then press enter. And then go to view and fit on screen. So this is now filling our entire screen. We're getting a fantastic view of it. We can clearly see what we're about to do. And unfortunately, when Photoshop updated their current version this year, they changed the location of the watercolor brushes. I do give instruction in my video tutorials for course number 7 for Photoshop CC users, but unfortunately they are now outdated and I need to update those. So for you to locate the watercolor brushes which fall under the category of wet media brushes, you need to do the following, okay? So you need to select the brush tool, so just click on that, then click on this little drop down arrow because this gives you more options regarding the brush tool. Then click on this little cog. This provides you with more settings. Then I want you to select legacy brushes, and you're being asked restore the legacy brushes brush set to the list of brush presets. And what that means is, SketchUp, Photoshop is asking you, do you want to place these legacy brushes with the rest of your brushes? And you're saying yes. So we're going to click OK. Then what I want you to do is you will see a little scroll bar right here. I want you to scroll down, or you can click on this little guy here and bring it all the way down. So I want you to bring it all the way down, and you will see a folder called Legacy Brushes. I want you to click on the arrow to the left and then click this little arrow so that you can go on down, because now there's what this actually is showing you is that there are folders within this main folder, just like you would see on your computer when you're saving files. Then I want you to go down, keep going all the way down, keep clicking that arrow to, where am I? Wet Media Brushes. So you're going to go down to there and you're going to select Wet Media Brushes. And then we're going to continue to scroll all the way down the Wet Media Brushes folder until we reach Watercolor Textured Surface. And that is the brush you need to create the watercolor effect. So I know this might seem like a little bit of hassle for you at the minute, but please trust me that this effect is very, very effective. It's very authentic looking, and lots of people ask me how I create this effect, and this is how I do it. In my video tutorials for course 7, after I have shown you how to create the watercolor effect, I actually show you how to apply a texture to the overall watercolor visual so that it looks like it has been painted on watercolor paper. And unfortunately, again, with the current version of Photoshop, they have moved that function. So at the very end, when you've actually applied the watercolor effect and you want to add the watercolor paper look, all you have to do is go to Filter, then Filter Gallery, then select Texture. So just click this arrow beside Texture, and then select Texturizer. And the default setting is 104, and I think it actually has Canvas as the default setting. So I want you to select the arrow right here beside the word texture and select sandstone. I want you to bring the scaling down to 50, and then I want you to bring the relief down to 1, and you will actually see a very subtle texture applied to that, which gives the look of watercolor paper. And that's all of the changes as far as I'm aware for the current version of Photoshop. I have explained everything that you need to know so that you can apply the processes I've outlined in my video tutorials in course number 7 using your current version of Photoshop. Please let me know if there are any other queries or questions that you have. I'm more than happy to help. Okay, thank you.